Gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me to this interesting and wonderful meeting and asking me to talk about the actually, do we understand now what Victor Hess really measured? As we are all talking of cosmic rays, but what he measured is not cosmic rays. So just before I start, I said, yes, now we do believe we understand. A brief of history, another version, it's not so important who and when, but I will more emphasize here about whether this discovery of milestones related to cosmic rays, primary cosmic rays as we understand now, or their secondary effects. What we may start probably with is that Charles Wilson discovered the atmospheric ionization, but at that time it was believed to be due to the natural radioactivity of the Earth. Then Victor Hess made his series of balloons flights with electrometers or electroscope on board balloon and found that ionization comes after some altitude from above, and he proved that it's not solar, but it was all about the secondary effects of cosmic rays. Then, as we heard already, Robert Millikan gave quite unfortunate name of cosmic rays, and at that time it was believed it was something like really rays. Then it was shown that the ionization rate increased with altitude, which means these are charged particles deflected by the geomagnetic field. This relates to the primary particles again. And then Skobeltsyn found tracks in cloud chamber proving that these are particles. Again, it was about secondary particles. Then it was shown that the primary, these charged particles in the atmosphere are charged, which means it was about secondary. Then there was another interesting result showing that ionization rate, if we look at the atmosphere, is different whether we look to east or west direction. And actually, this proves that the primary cosmic rays are charged particles and they are protons. They are positively charged. Also, Pierre Auger found the extensive air showers that signals can be simultaneously detected far apart on the ground. Also secondary particles. They're quite interesting. I will also tell more about that. In late February 1942, the detection of solar cosmic rays have been done. Actually, there was an increase in ionization chambers on the ground, and it was related to solar flare and radio disturbances. Okay, then there were direct measurements of cosmic rays on rocket and balloons. I will not discuss here who was first, who was second, just that it took another almost 50 years to really measure cosmic ray particles in space. What was all measured before were secondaries, or what's produced by cosmic rays in the atmosphere. And so I would like to mention that antiproton or antiparticles were also measured directly in cosmic rays, and there are still disputes on the priority. At least a group, Soviet group, led by the first author Bogomolov was involved there. I emphasize it because I came from the same institute where this group originates, the Echophysical Technical Institute in the same way. Okay, now we can move to the Hess measurements. And what's shown here is a plot from a quite interesting paper by Harrison and Bennett. The dots are the measurements by Victor Hess on his flight on August 7th, 1912. And the different curves are just different empirical models fitting with a try to feed. And one of the curves fits it quite well, except of the few of the two lowest points. Why several plots curves shown here is that in the year 2007 it was still common to use empirical models for to compute the ionization caused by cosmic rays in the atmosphere. Now we have a much better approach, but at least it fits the data except of the few granites, basalts. There is a natural radioactivity of the earth, of the soil, which means that granites and basalts are radioactive, and also there are sporadic emission of radon gas, which is short-living and produces quite an essential ionization of the air. Of course, there is no natural radioactivity over water. Then, a major source of ionization in the lower and middle atmosphere are cosmic rays. Because of their high energy, they can penetrate, not directly, but via secondary products down to the ground. In the upper part of the atmosphere, quite important is solar radiation, which ionizes the upper part, but it cannot penetrate, the ionizing part cannot penetrate deep. And also the ozone layer helps in that. It's not very clear here, it's called energetic precipitating particles, APP, which means a particle precipitating from the radiation belts and magnetosphere. They mostly do it in polar regions and also in South Atlantic anomaly, but their low energy does not allow them to initiate a cascade, and therefore they all have an effect only in the upper part of the atmosphere. This means that in the low and middle atmosphere, cosmic rays form the main source of ionization. Now, if we consider the latitudinal effect, the Earth, the energetic precipitating particles are important mostly in the polar regions, in the upper atmosphere. Solar radiation, of course, important on the day side, and there is nothing in the night side, but cosmic rays are everywhere. The flux is slightly modulated by the geomagnetic field, but anyway, they're present everywhere, every time. So when we speak of ionization in the low atmosphere, it's mostly cosmic rays. And a few words about radon, or natural radioactivity. This area where Hess flew his balloons is quite radioactive. I mean, the soil is quite radioactive because of the near mountains. So that's why he saw such an important effect in the lowest few hundred meters. That was due to the natural radioactivity of the soil. Okay, now we go to the main part of the presentation. When a highly energetic primary cosmic ray particle enters the atmosphere, first it goes straight, just ionizing the air along its paths. It's the direct ionization, losing a little bit of energy. But sooner or later, it collides with one of the nucleus of the atmospheric gases. Soon or later means on the average about 100 grams per square centimeter. After a first collision with the nucleus, different secondaries can be produced. And each of them, some of them may have sufficient energy to go further, to initiate secondary collision, tertiary, and further on, which can result to a full cascade or shower like that. This picture is shown for a primary proton with energy 200 GeV, giga electron volts. If we go to a little bit more details and how we can study and model, understand that. The first part, when the primary cosmic ray particle goes towards ionizing the air, it's quite simple task. It can be solved analytically either in so-called thin or thick target model where the own energy, what's going on? Losses can be neglected. But after the collision, usually we separate three branches. I'm sorry, but these symbols, Greek symbols, are not shown here for some reason. Okay, so this should be gamma, this should be pi, pions. Okay, let us start from a nucleonic one. If a nucleus M is produced as a subproduct of the first nuclear collision, if it has sufficient energy, it can produce second collision, and they are with different products. Those can be protons or neutrons or fragments, T3, and so on. And this is called the nucleonic part of the cascade. Then if a pion is produced, it can decay. If it's by a neutral pion, it can decay to muons, which has quite large penetrating ability but short lifetime. They also can decay producing electrons, or they can go quite straight. So this is muon part, and if gammas produced or P0s, they can decay to gammas. Gammas also can decay producing electrons. This is called electromagnetic part of the cascade. So we have three major components: electromagnetic, muon, and nucleon. And if we want to study this process, because of its complexity, it can be done in the best way using Monte Carlo numerical simulations. With all the process randomly simulated with a huge number of simulations, then we can get some statistics. And the contribution of different components of the cascade is also quite different depending on the energy of primary particle. If it's not high, say 200 mega electron volts for a proton, then the whole ionization, this is a black hole, is produced exclusively by nucleonic components. If we go to higher energy, about 10 gigaelectron volt, this is around the most important energy range for the ionization near the ground. Then all the three components, electromagnetic, red, muon, blue, and hadronic or nucleonic, red, are quite equally important. So it's not possible to neglect one of them. If we go to even higher energy, then hadronic or nucleonic component becomes negligible, and electromagnetic and muon dominates. Many earlier models of 70s, 80s were based on some empirical approximation based mostly on the hadronic or nucleonic component. And as we can see, others also cannot be neglected. That's why we need a full simulation with Monte Carlo. And this has been done quite recently, during the last maybe 5-10 years, when we are able to produce a full 3D simulations of the atmospheric cascade, not as simplified analytical models. The basic result is shown here. This shows the level of cosmic ray-induced ionization, or ionization rate, as a function of the atmospheric altitude, or actually the natural units for atmospheric altitude in this kind of studies in cosmic ray physics is not altitude per se, but the atmospheric depth or atmospheric density over Gudenfeld point, which basically equal to a barometric pressure. So you can read this as a barometric pressure and a function of geomagnetic rigidity cutoff or geomagnetic latitude. Because as expected, the highest ionization observed is in polar region, where there is no geomagnetic cutoff, and at the altitude of about 12 to 20 kilometers. This corresponds to the Poellau maximum, actually. And physics is very simple there. If we go above, the atmospheric cascade is not yet developed. There are very energetic particles, but they are single particles. So they don't produce much of ionization. If you go below, most of the cascade fades away. So not much ionization also. Here is the optimum condition, and this Poellau maximum moves a little bit low with the geomagnetic latitude decreasing, and this of course relates to the energy of the cosmic rays, and they get cut off by the geomagnetic field. The interesting thing is, we are all talking about the ionization, but the atmosphere is essentially neutral. It's not a plasma in any way. The degree of ionization is of the order of 10 to 19, 10 to 18 per second, which means that only one atom of 10 to 19 is ionized per second by cosmic rays. Well, it's hard to say, not easy to say what is the level of constant equilibrium ionization, because recombination rate can change quite a bit. But it's about from 10 to minus 13, 10 to minus 15. So it's really a minor and very small amount, but it's not negligible. It has quite important consequences for atmospheric chemistry and physics. What I showed before were the results of numerical simulations, how they relate to measurements. They reproduce measurements quite well if we put it generally a big collection of measurements. It's shown here, different sets of measurements, all of the solar maximum conditions. The red curve is simulations, different symbols are for different set of measurements. Generally, we can say that the agreement is within 10% below about 15 kilometers in the lower part, and the uncertainties up to a factor of 2 are expected in the upper part of the atmosphere, above about 20 kilometers, and this is mostly because of other source of ionization, solar radiation and specifically energetic precipitating particles in polar regions, which are not easy to account for. And if we try to reproduce individual measurements, as done here, it goes like that. This is a single balloon flight performed at the University of Reading in August 2005. And we try to reproduce with the model. The overall trend is reproduced quite well. And of course, we are not able to reproduce all these layers structure with this specific flight. But overall, the agreement is quite nice, so we believe that we can reproduce the ionization rate caused by cosmic rays quite well. And if we have a look at spatial distribution of the ionization at ground level and at about 12 kilometers altitude for solar minimum, for solar maximum, They are all very, you can see, the main structures you can see is that the ionization is maximum near geomagnetic poles, not geographic, geomagnetic, and this sigmoid structure is the geomagnetic equator. And you can also see here and here the South Atlantic magnetic anomaly with reduced shielding. So basically we have a 3D or 4D, 3D ionization picture which can change with time. We just need to know parameters of the cosmic ray spectra to compute ionization at every point you wish at every time. If we go to long time variations of the atmospheric ionization at about 3 kilometers altitude at pole and equator, what we expect to see changes over a solar cycle. At the equator it's about 10%, at pole roughly 20%, but the structure quite fine. This is due to the forward decrease and all other. But actually the level of variability is about between 10 and 20% in a solar cycle. If you go to longer time scale, it can be larger, so it's about the same 3 kilometers altitude, but this is a reconstruction based on solar variability of cosmic radius ionization at the pole since for the last 3 centuries. And actually, as you can see, during the mountain minimum, for instance, we would expect ionization being a factor of 30 maybe, greater than it's now. Okay? Okay. Sometimes during solar cosmic rays, they have huge spikes. Two, very important for cosmic ray ionization, the solar cosmic rays. We can compute also that. And in fact, they are important only in polar stratosphere because of very soft spectrum of solar energetic particles. They don't produce a major effect on all other world but the polar stratosphere during the very time of the event. So if we include all the known solar energetic particle events for the last solar cycle, at about 7 kilometers altitude, you hardly see any spikes, or there is one. So this is not really important. And just a few words if the chairman allows. Can cosmic rays affect climate? You probably all have heard that there are such an idea. The basis of idea is very simple. If we compute the black body radiation of the Earth, the temperature would be 255 kelvins. But the actual is 288, which means not black body. And this difference gives you an opportunity to play with something. And the idea with cosmic rays was that cosmic rays, due to ionization, can produce clouds, for instance, which can modify climate. There are some ideas, but no models so far, and no direct evidence. I only will show very briefly, two results which may give some quantitative clue. One is the parent experiments, one that made in CERN, it's called Cloud, the other in Copenhagen called Sky. Both show that indeed, if we increase ionization, the rate of formation of small particles, aerosol, increases. But it increases if you, with the order of magnitude increase of ionization, you get 2 or 3 times increase of formation rate. But the change of ionization of cosmic rays is only 10%. So you get hardly above 1% change in the formation rate of aerosol. And all other parameters like temperature, humidity, CO2, whatever, is much greater. The last example, is a study of aerosols in the polar atmosphere after a huge effect of January 2005, solar energetic particle. There is very significant effect in aerosols that as a number of new small aerosols has been produced, probably in relation to the event, but they were not growing enough to form the cloud condensation nuclei. And it appears at in the stratosphere, altitude 15 to 20 kilometers. So no clouds produced even for this huge event. Therefore, we can hardly expect it to be greater than that. And the conclusions, very quick. Now we believe that we know what Dr. Hess and others observed in their experiment. But it took us about 100 years to understand. And cosmic rays form the main source of atmospheric ionization, which can be now fully modeled with a 3D numerical model tested against observations. It's the main, it's high accuracy in the low atmosphere, and the high atmosphere are the source of ionization are significant. The atmospheric effect, even of severe solar energetic particle events, is significant only in polar atmosphere and negligible for the global warming. But I think the effects still exist, but I mean, it's of pure now, it's of more academic interest than of political science. And you're right about the size. Since the chairman was stating, I made my speech shorter, but I want that in this talk, we saw an increase of very small particles, but we don't see that they were growing to the size to produce any clouds or aerosols which can affect the anything. And this event was one of the biggest ever observed, with huge increase, momentary increase of cosmic ray particles. As they see anything from small event or of quite tiny variability of 10 or 20% of the solar cycle.